He had lived next door to her for years. Other than the occasional hello, they really hadn't spoken. Oh sure, the weather and a few other pleasantries, but no real conversation. They really didn't know anything about each other. So that was why it was such a surprise when she invited him in for a little chat when he got home early one afternoon. His first impression of the house was nice with some interesting artwork displayed. It seemed both tasteful and erotic, but an undercurrent of something different, something he couldn't put his finger on. Closing the door behind them, she startled him by immediately pushing him against the wall and stared into his eyes. Well, she was looking at his eyes. His eyes were drawn to the visible, soft flesh of the tops of her breasts still jiggling in their cups from the rapid movement. She chuckled and then with a finger under his chin lifted his face so he was looking into her eyes. She shifted her stance a bit, placing one foot between his feet and pressed her hip against his groin. It would be more flattering if you were 40 years younger, but you're not. You're my age. So all the staring you do at me is just plain rude. Yes, I see you ogling me all the time. Didn't your mother teach you not to stare? At this she leaned in closer and whispered in my ear. It's rude and crude to stare at me all the time. So what is it? Do you want to fuck me? Do you imagine being enough of a man to take me on the table, slamming into me and watching my tits jiggling up and down my chest? Is that it? You want to jump my bones? He was shocked by her language and captivated by her perfume. He fumbled for something to say, finally managing to croak out a, "No, ma'am." Meanwhile, his body was starting to respond to this strong woman and her perfume. He'd had fantasies about take-charge women before. And the warmth of her body against his was having predictable and uncomfortable results. So you don't want to fuck me? Are you gay? Or are you one of those adult babies that just want to suckle on a breast? Is that it? Did mommy fail to wean you properly? Whatever it is, we are going to get to the bottom of this right now. I will know what your thing is. She started unbuttoning his shirt, working from the top down. As the shirt started to gape open, a tiny rose was visible on the waistband of his underwear. Looking more carefully, she noticed the underwear was lace on top of a satiny shiny material. What the hell? She exclaimed. With that she pulled at his belt, quickly unfastening the button, lowering the zipper and pushing his pants around his ankles. As she moved back up, the high-waisted panty brief was plainly visible. Her hand ran down the front of the garment and her fingers fondled the bulk between his legs. "And what is this?" she asked. "Is that all you?" His pale complexion turned very red and he hung his head in shame. I was all he could mumble. She lifted his chin again so she could look him in the eyes. He appeared on the edge of tears. Her fingertips were running over the lower portion of his groin and then returned to the lump between his legs. She asked again, "Is that all you?" "No," he sniffed. "It isn't." "Then what is it and why is it there? Where is your manhood?" "It's a feminine napkin and my manhood is embedded in it. My manhood, what there is of it, is excitable and tends to leak a lot. I use the napkin to keep from spotting my panties." "So you are gay? Is that your secret? Then why would you ever stare at me as you do?" "No, I'm not gay. I'm not attracted to men. I just get excited when I wear women's clothing. It's all so soft and pretty and you are all so lucky to wear such things." "I still don't get it." "Oh, wait a minute, I want to try something." With that she pushed the shirt off his shoulders and bent over a bit. With one hand she cupped his chest, forming a small breast. As she did this, she took his nipple into her mouth and started to suckle him. His head went back, his eyes rolled up and a moan of pure satisfaction escaped his mouth. His arm bent to support her head and the other hand went to gently stroke her hair as she continued to suck him. She finally stopped and he moaned in disappointment. She chuckled again, now realizing what she possessed. I get it now, you don't want my tits, you want my tits. That's it, isn't it? Again his head went down in shame. Finally steeling himself, he decided to confess all to this woman who just discerned his darkest secrets. Yes, but I would also love to suckle your breasts, too. Go home. I need to think about this. Don't for a minute think this is over. We will explore this further. This is the price you have to pay for your naughty thoughts. Until later. He quickly pulled up his pants, buttoning and zipping up. Belt fastened, he started to button his shirt closed as she pushed him out the door, closing it right behind him. He went home, totally confused. She had berated him, belittled him, and yet he was excited more than he could imagine. She had embarrassed him to no end and he had liked it, wanted more of it. That night, as he donned his nighttime sleepwear and pulled the body pillow against him to hug, he lay there in confusion. Later he reached into the nightstand drawer and withdrew the extra-large pacifier kept there. As he lay there sucking the pacifier, he imagined it was one of her fat nipples in his mouth. Morning would bring the additional embarrassment of the sexual release he would discover in his nighttime panties. Meanwhile, Charlotte trembles as she sits in the chair by the door. The past comes flooding back up her. Could it be, after all those years, another chance was presented to her? For a while it had been the best time of her life. Happy, deliriously happy, and erotically so very satisfying. And then she screwed it up. She hadn't understood the responsibility and had let the power consume her. She had wanted more and she took it and she wrecked everything she had, everything she needed. She remembered that day as if it were yesterday. The cheerleaders had practiced at Jasmine's house and then it turned into a pool party for the girls. As ever, Jasmine's, well, what would you call him, friend was there. Poor Donnie was smitten with Jasmine and Jasmine did nothing about it. She gave him no encouragement nor did she do anything to discourage him. Just like now, she didn't tell him he couldn't be there, she just tolerated him like one would a little brother. He helped her with homework and he was invited to dinner with her family on those nights, but always by the family, never directly by Jasmine. Donnie was so non-threatening as a male that Jasmine's father didn't even object if they were alone in the house together, as they frequently were. This one particular day after the pool party was over, the girls started working on their cheer costumes. Donnie was left to his own devices, too smitten to leave her presence and too insignificant to be told to leave. So he stayed. It was fun to be included in this activity. After all, where else would a small, geeky boy get to spend a day around the prettiest girls in his school? As the activity progressed and all the linings were finished and in place in the uniforms, it was commented that it was a shame Roxy wasn't able to make it or everyone's outfit could be finished. The chatter drifted in the direction of who could wear Roxy's outfit so it could be finished. Suddenly Donnie noticed the room had gotten very quiet and he looked up from his book he had been reading. All eyes were on him. What? He asked of the group. Jasmine smiled, and Donnie loved that smile, saying, Donnie, we could finish everyone's dress today, but Roxy isn't here and none of us fit into that little shrimp's outfit. Could you be a dear and wear it so we can finish all our outfits? I can't wear girls' clothes. What would everyone think of me? Jasmine turned her smile up another notch and replied, Donnie, please? It's just us girls here and we won't tell a soul. Who would believe us anyway? And we'd all owe you a favor. Look, you can just slip it on over your clothes. Please? Please, all the other girls chimed in. What exactly would I have to do? The girls broke out in applause and Jasmine took command. Come here and stand up on this footstool. That way you will be high enough that we can pin everything for the proper length. With that, Donnie approached the big footstool and looked out at the smiling faces. Maybe this won't be so bad as long as nobody finds out, Donnie thought to himself. Before he could step up on the footstool, Charlie lifted him from behind and set him up there. Before this starts, you all have to promise you will never speak of this to anyone and no cameras. Oh no, no cameras, and we all promise, don't we, girls? A chorus of, "No, we promise," was given. There Donnie stood, on that footstool, wondering what was he getting himself into. No sooner than the satiny lining was slipped over his head, Jasmine's mom came charging into the house. Jasmine's mom was some sort of salesperson and very, very good at her job. She didn't waste time, and she didn't just walk in anywhere. Her normal speed was to charge and then take charge. "I see you managed to talk him into helping," she commented upon taking in the scene before her. Walking over to the footstool, she commented, "His clothes will have to go. It's all bunched up and ruining the line of everything. Lower it off his shoulders so we can remove his shirt." Having been commanded, all hands jumped to help Donnie out of shirt and undershirt. They moved the lining back onto his shoulders, and Donnie visibly shivered as the cool, slick material touched his upper body. Noticed by Jasmine's mom, a wicked smile crossed her face while Donnie, oblivious to the looks behind his back, blushed. Curiously, this was about the time Charlie began blushing. "Well, that's a start, but those jeans also need to go. Girls, remove his jeans." Charlie was the fastest, reaching under the dress lining, quickly unfastening Donnie pants, inserting fingers inside his waistband and pushing them down around his ankles. Her fingertips ran over his bare bottom. It felt as if an electric current passed between the two of them. Donnie shivered at the touch, and Charlie looked him in the eye, and with a little smirk she winked. "Oh God, what do I do now?" Donnie thought to himself. He expected to be swimming today and then lay out at the pool as normal until his trunks dried, so he wore his trunks under his jeans. But with them still wet, he opted to not wear anything under his jeans. Slowly, and as predictably as the blush spreading across his face and neck, his small penis began to stiffen. This was not missed by Jasmine's mother. "Donnie, come with me, quickly. We need to talk," she said as she walked out of the room, not even waiting to see if the boy would follow. Of course he would. Into her bedroom she went and then rounded on the boy as he entered. He tried to cover himself with his hands, but that just made the issue even more conspicuous. "Donnie, are you getting an erection?" His eyes fell to the floor and he quietly replied, "Yes, ma'am." "I thought so. You wait right here and don't you dare move." She left the room and quickly returned with a package. She sat on the bed and opened the package in front of him and shook out a panty girdle. She held it open and commanded him forward. "Step into this, 1 foot at a time." He did, and without a care for his modesty she pulled the panty girdle up to his waist. His small member, having withered under her scrutiny, was now firmly trapped against his tummy. "There, now you can go back to the girls and continue without embarrassing them." Them, he thought. What about me? And what about that comment earlier? Sounded like getting me into this dress was planned in advance. At least she didn't follow me back out into the room. Donnie returned to the family room with the girls and without a word got back up on the footstool. As the girls raised the hem and started to pin the hem in place, the panty girdle was plainly visible. Pink? Oh my God! Donnie's wearing pink underwear. Megan exclaimed. Celia grabbed the hem and pulled the bottom almost to his head. That's not even boys' underwear. Laughter from the girls brought on more blushing from Donnie. Of note was that Charlie's blushing was even more pronounced than Donnie's. Jasmine's mom breezed through the room again on her way out the door. As she went through, she told Jasmine, "I gave Donnie a panty girdle so his boyish lines wouldn't ruin the shape of the dress." We'll let him keep that one, so don't let me forget, dear. I need to get a replacement panty girdle for your little sister. With that she went out the door and Donnie's embarrassment was complete. Or so he thought. The door closed with what Donnie thought was the sound of the end of the world. At this point all of the girls again laughed, that silly high-pitched girly laugh that only teenage girls can do. A tear started to form in Donnie's eye and a quick-witted Charlie jumped up and hugged the boy to her. Now understand that Donnie was short, less than 5 feet tall, and Charlie was every bit of 6 foot and more to spare. Even on the footstool, Donnie just managed to lay his head somewhere between her breast and shoulder. For the first time that day Charlie spoke to him. She whispered in his ear, "Donnie, please see this through and I'll make it better, I promise." She hugged him once more and quietly walked back to her seat. With all eyes on Donnie, nobody noticed his tears on her blouse. They gathered around Donnie, one measuring the hem height, another chalking, and a third pinning the hem to the proper height. When it was done they slipped it off him and took it to the sewing machine where it was blind stitched to the proper length. Donnie felt particularly vulnerable standing there in only the panty girdle. Meanwhile 2 of the girls started making measurements with the cloth tape. OMG, he's only 23 inches in the waist. Jasmine asked for the numbers. Celia read off, 31-23-30, and he's 4 feet 10 inches tall. Except for boobs, more hips, and a full, but he's a match for Roxy. But we can't fix the waist in the liner because without the C-cup boobs of Roxy we'll never get the darts right. That's a shame, we could have finished Roxy's today, too. Wait a minute, isn't there one of Roxy's bras in her bag? Finally Donnie spoke up, "Whoa. You aren't going to put a bra on me." "No, no, no, no." Jasmine glared at Donnie, something he'd never experienced before and didn't care to again. "What do you mean? Do you plan to leave? Look at you standing there surrounded by all of us and you in just a pink panty girdle. You going to get off the stool and walk out the door? Go ahead, the door is that way." "I dare you." Charlie spoke up, "Hey, wait a minute. Give him a break. He's been a good sport so far." Jasmine snapped, "Oh, you want him? Maybe I should let you take him." Under her breath Charlie commented, "I just might do exactly that." Sighing in resignation Donnie asks, "So, what do I have to do?" Celia walked to him carrying Roxy's bra by the straps. Donnie extends his arms through the straps without a word. Not certain anyone else noticed the movement, it did not escape Charlie. Celia moved behind Donnie and fastened the band. Celia pronounced it fit perfectly on the middle set of eyes. Charlie had come around in front of Donnie and started fussing with the shoulder straps, adjusting the length ever so slightly and then running fingers over them to get them straight and flat. Charlie playfully pressed the cup material against his chest, giggled, and said to everyone, "We have a bit of a problem here. Celia, I have a bag of cotton puffs under the sink in my bathroom for my nails. Can you go get it, please?" asked Jasmine. Celia returned with the bag of puffs, removing handfuls and handing them to Charlie. Charlie would add some and squeeze the cup and then add some more. The same to the other side, and Donnie now had a respectfully filled out bra. Charlie took one more squeeze of Donnie bra cups and reached up to squeeze her own as she smiled at Donnie. She whispered to him, "I promise, I will make this up to you." All this had a predictable effect on Donnie, and if it weren't for the tight panty girdle Donnie would be embarrassing himself all over again if that were possible. She squeezed him again and said, "Well, they don't feel right, but how's that look, everyone?" Comments ranged from great to wow. Celia moved in with the tape again and verified, "Just like Roxy, except they don't seem to jiggle." With those comments Donnie lowers his head into his hands. Charlie whispers again, "Hang in there, you're doing great." Jasmine comes back with the finished lining and places it on Donnie. The few needed darts are completed, requiring the removal and trying on over and over until finally the dress is slipped on over the completed lining. Adjustments here and there were made, and soon the dress was complete with the lining properly attached. Donnie is given his clothes and directed to a nearby bathroom to dress. As he leaves the room, he hears the other girls asking Jasmine, "Why do you let that wimp hang around? What could you possibly see in him? Celia's more a man than he is." "Hey," squawked Celia. "I resent that. But it's probably true. I've gotten about all I can from him. Anymore and he's going to want to hold hands or, ugh, kiss me. Anyway, I hear Ted is going to ask me to the prom, so that should be the end of Donnie." "Jasmine, can I get Donnie to give me a ride home?" asked Charlie. "Sure, that's about the only ride that boy would be worth." With that said, everyone laughed and Charlie slipped out of the room. She met Donnie as he came out of the bathroom, holding the panty girdle in one hand. Jasmine saw Donnie standing there and said, "Take Charlie home, she needs a ride, and you can keep the girdle. My sister couldn't wear it now, and besides it looked so good on you." "Sorry, I can't let you keep Roxy's bra, which would need to be her choice. Though now you've worn it, she probably won't want it back." Everyone else laughed as Charlie steers him to the door. There wasn't much conversation on the ride to Charlie's house, just necessary directions. It was sort of out in the country at the edge of the city limits where developments haven't taken over yet. Donnie stops his car in the driveway and starts to get out. "Wait a minute, please, Donnie." A long, uncomfortable pause fills what seems like hours. "Why do you let Jasmine treat you like that? Tell me, please." "She lets me hang out with her. I take her to games. We sit in the stands together during the JV games. I get to drive her home afterwards. She's got a great smile. I'm crazy about her. But do you think she cares about you? Or maybe you are just a convenient ride? A geometry tutor? Have you ever been on a real date? Ever hold hands, kiss her? No, it's not like that with Jasmine. Besides, I'd have to be her boyfriend to do that, and you've seen us side by side. She's like 6 inches taller than I am. You do know I'm the shortest boy in the school and I'm a junior. Heck, it would be worse if I were a senior like I was supposed to be. Nobody else tolerates a shrimp like me." Charlie sits there a moment, clearly thinking something. What? Donnie has no clue. Then with the decision made, she says, "Donnie, come with me, you need to meet someone." With that said, Charlie starts to open her door. Donnie hustles to get around the car to hold the door for her. "Thank you, Donnie," she says as she smiles warmly at Donnie. She takes his arm in hers as they walk to the house.